What's good, YouTube? And welcome to the house. I have so much to say about Master Duel, and is it the physical TCG killer? The dueling book killer that it promised to be? Let's go ahead and talk about it, because it does have glaring issues. I know some people are trying to baby it. You can't say anything bad about Master Duel. It has issues early on that are easily overlooked by the amazing overlay, the great music. It sounds like The Witcher combined with Lord of the Rings, and the amazing gem system, but I think that's on purpose early on. I wouldn't be spending all your gems to just retroactively get a ton of decks, because it's starting on Dawn of Majesty. Burst of Destiny is one of the most impactful sets of all time, and that hasn't been updated into the game yet as you're scrambling for other things. Now, I have not spent anything on the game. Well, correction, I bought a PlayStation Plus account for 1 month. My wife wanted to test it out, and there happened to be a 50 pack that was completely worthless and doesn't even count towards anything I've gone, and you can't even disenchant those cards. Now, I will say, what is hard carrying this game right now is the crafting system. You can turn any ultra rare back into 10 points and buy any ultra rare for 30 points, even if you have not packed it yet. I also thought I would hate the secret pack system where you have to pull certain cards in packs in order to unlock that pack and then buy cards in that pack. But instead, if you craft a card, like right now, I do not have Forbidden Droplet. And if you go this way and make it to where cards you can't see or don't own are there, you can see Droplet, and if I have 12 more ultra rare points, I can craft it. How do I get more ultra rare points? Well, if I go ahead and look through what I have, I can turn this Bigfoot into 10 points, except I kind of want to keep that right now. Or this shinier Bigfoot into 15 points, and I could have my Forbidden Droplet right there. It also is OCG format in Dawn of Majesty era, so you have Calamities? Yeah, he's back. 3 Maxis running around, and I went ahead and just bought the second Called by the Grave for now, and PKBA overall, it's great. And when I say bought, again, with these in-game systems, I've spent $10 that didn't even matter towards the game because I got by PlayStation packs being nice and shiny. I thought they would be any packs and that it would be great value. Let my mistake save you from that for now. But yeah, my system is great. I could basically build a ton of different things. Heck, I have 3 Servant of Endymion over here. I could build Pendulum next thanks to that structure deck. And a lot of people are on Pendulums, but I wanted to go with that overall. So a lot of tension will be on this for a while, and it's relatively free to play for now, but think that gems will get increasingly harder to get. One thing that I actually really don't like is within the missions, there's diminishing returns. They give you the heavy returns first, and then later on, less and less. I would think that as you're going further, you should get rewarded more, but instead it's less because they know they have you hooked. It's very transparent there, isn't it? But yeah, the more lifting you do, the more you should be rewarded, I would think. Now, this will not replace the TCG as it is. It's an OCG backed up format. Updates will take care of that. It's best of ones in rated. The tournaments also could fix that. We've seen that there's options for full matches, but as we know, the Japanese YCSs, they are best of ones, so they actually prefer this format too. Also, if you make alternate formats, you're cutting the player base overall for this game, and no longer will there be these 2 AM duels where I'm matching up against somebody in Japan, and for overall players, they probably want to keep that connected. Oh, another thing that's glaring me in the face right now is this gold pass. Easily worth it with your initial gems. This does the lifting for itself. The more you play, the more it will reward you, and it is definitely worth the bonuses for the gold pass. Just spend your gems, and it will pay you back with in-game cards and the gems. And by the way, spend those free gems that you're getting on it. Easily worth it if you're grinding this game. Overall, I do think this will be a ding to Dueling Book as a whole because more attention will be over here on it, as well as simulators, but it's not a one-for-one replacement for the game with those issues we just talked about. Now, the positive is just how seamless it is, how you're able to go through here and watch duel replays. Like, let's actually give it a go. We can just go spectate duels that are happening, connect in, and see, like, games that are going on, or that kind of stuff. Like, this entire layout, it's so amazing. Wow, that guy's hand looks like the old dueling book RNG. I have heard some people complain about RNG as a whole here, but I don't think it's that serious. And I've got to say, the animations they've worked out, they're not the craziest, but they're very good in my book. It's what those Yugi tubers kind of get for those intros, right? With the moving pieces of the cards, almost taken straight out of Yugi Tube. So we're going to see Blue Eyes, Kaiba versus Zane here on this duelist replay that's on the main board. And good old Seeger's coming out here. You get the pets, everything, the interactivity. Now, even I, as a spectator, can mess with the dual pets. Well, they're called mates in game, right? And I think they've worked so hard on this versus Legacy of the Worthless. The other big thing heading forward as you see all of this happen on your screen is they plan to do tournaments. They've already stated they plan to do a world's level tournament around this game. It's not just going to be, yep, you did all this time into the game, you worked on the ladder, and you got nothing for your trouble. No, there will be tournaments structured where hopefully it's not just in-game prizes. I know there's rumors about physical things around this game, but I don't know that that's going to be the case outside of the world's level tournament where even Duel Links does get physical things around the game. But that's speculation, right? We haven't seen the tournament structure and how it's going to pan out, the time zones and everything for that, and what you're going to have to set aside. But you're already waking up at 2 a.m. in the morning to travel 5 hours for regionals if you're a competitive player. And the fact that you can get one free deck in this basically with a backup free deck or save those gems for the future, I think it's well worth it. And wow, that was a quick game. Rampage and Infinity busting on through the Blue Eyes player. I have seen a lot of Blue Eyes on here. So what's the meta like so far early? I have played against a ton of Stun Eldritch. Vanity's Emptiness is in the game. I think Skill Drain is at multiples, if not at 3. The ban list is extremely different, and you can check that out over here in the sub menu. I actually have not done that. I believe we can check that out. Forbidden and limited list, yes. So we're able to actually look through it, and this is their quote-unquote standard list. So there's all the forbidden cards, then you get to limited, and you'll start to see a little of what's different or missing between the OCG Dama era format and ours. Like, oh, there's Colossus, he's at 1. Also, he's an ultra rare in the game, so a little harder to get. Zeus is at 1. Nadir Servant is at 1, so if you were already planning on Dogmatica, Invoke Shadol, you might want to think about the power level of your deck. Girsu is at 1. Striker has a bit more power with a second engage within the game, so there's also this ban list. Magical Meltdown at 2, and you have over here for Pendulums, let's just mention Heavy Metal Foes Electromite at 1 that I casually scrolled past. So this format is completely warped different to where there's Calamities, there's Thunder Dragon Colossus and his engine, and just this different tilting thing. It is its own game for now. We will see what they're going to come up with and what they plan to do for updates and how they take care of the game. They notoriously did not with Legacy of the Worthless, aka Legacy of the Duelist 1 and 2, but I have a feeling with how they've set this up so well and crafted it that they plan to keep up with this and continue on. I've done all of this without spending money, except that $10 I shouldn't, so I would suggest getting in here, getting those gems early, racking them up for future events, and maybe taking advantage if you are spending money on those early deals and holding on to those gems for the future if you're a free-to-play warrior, because it's not going to get much better than it is with this launch release deals and grinding. In fact, I would think they might patch it to nerf the crafting system later or stuff like that, but again, reaching back further and further, there will only be more cards compared to Duel Links where it's limited releases and you're concentrating at one thing on a time. I've seen all the memes, people like looking away from Duel Links and towards here, babe, what happened to Duel Links, and all that kind of stuff. This might be the Duel Links killer, if anything, and which if they do, since that ouchies to their wallet, Duel Links is Konami's #1 earner, and that might make it tougher for this game unless it starts bringing in a ton of cash. Also, you see all those YouTubers' thumbnails. I spent $1,000, $10,000, $5,000, $500 on Duel Links. You don't have to do that unless you want a ton of different decks right now. You can build a full meta deck if you're concentrating and choosing and looking up how to. This was just my initial thoughts, and maybe I'll do some of those guides. I'm starting to see them pop up and around, but definitely worth playing and grinding, especially here early on. What do you guys think of Master Duel? Is it everything you wanted and more? Could there be some fixes to the formats? How will that go in the future? We'll have to wait and see. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up, and let me know if you want to see more Master Duel stuff here on the channel, because I'm really enjoying it and I'm having trouble pushing it like away. I'll probably be streaming this a lot more.